You know, in the Torah, I don't believe that we have dates that remind you of certain things and you just, memorial of that date. That's not how we live the Torah. We live the Torah by reliving a moment, because what happened back then is still actual, and that's how you live the Torah throughout the calendar. But that date of Tanit Esther seems to be a little bit out of place in our calendar. They had a problem, and they had to gather, and they fasted, and we know the rest of the story. Thank God it ended up being something positive. But why do we have to fast on Tanit Esther? So years ago I saw a beautiful answer that I had reluctance in giving in to understanding fully this answer. I'll share it with you first. From Rav Chaim Paladji, alav hashalom. Rav Chaim Paladji says that actually he has the question, and he says, indeed, the calendar is cyclical, it comes back. And what happened is that the gezerah that Haman did on the Klal Israel, that decree that Haman said, I'm going to kill et kol haYehudim minar ve'ad zaken, I'm going to kill all the Jews, from the young ones to the old ones, men, women, etc. Says Rav Chaim Paladji, based on Midrashim from Chazal, that really that gezerah was just a mirror from a gezerah which was coming from Shamayim. Hashem had a gezerah on the Klal Israel. It was a decree against the Klal Israel that was authorized from heaven. Because we know Haman could not have decreed that gezerah if it wouldn't be authorized by God. He didn't know that God authorized it, but nothing of this colossal nature could have happened without the authorization from above. And based on that, Rav Chaim Paladji says, this decree of destruction of the Klal Israel has a possibility, maybe a potential, to come back every year. Because if the calendar is cyclical and it came from above, then it comes back every year in Tanit Esther. And really it's not about remembering what Esther did for the Klal Israel and how difficult it was for the Jews. It's about something that happened to us every year. So I said this pshat several times, and really inside I was like, come on, okay, very nice. Rav Chaim Paladji, I have nothing I could say against, chas v'shalom, but I had difficulty swallowing this answer because, things have changed. We live in America, we're comfortable, there's security, country loves us. The other Jews live in Israel. The majority of Jews between America and Israel, we're safe. Rabotai, this year, it changed. This year, Tanit Esther, we're living it. They killed our brothers. They killed our sisters. They still have over 100 people who are kidnapped in Gaza. That gezerah is actual. We're not fasting for Esther, we're fasting for us. Because that gezerah, I didn't believe it until now. But now who could say that this gezerah did not exist? I believe that the gezerah was much bigger than 1,200 people. We had Nisim v'Niflaot on October 7th. Of course, it would be very long to talk about. And in this small video, we just hint to them. But because of this Nisim v'Niflaot, we only had 1,200 people who died. So now we're living exactly what Rav Chaim Paladji is saying. This gezerah comes back. Somebody asked a very important rabbi, I'm not going to say names because I'm really upset, but a rabbi actually from Florida asked a very big rabbi in Israel if we should celebrate Purim normally this year. After the past few weeks, I already have a bitter taste in my mouth thinking about Purim. How can we be happy on Purim? I want to see people are going to get drunk and they're going to be happy as if nothing happened. There's going to be parties everywhere. In my shul, it's going to be the first time that we don't do a Purim party. And we're not going to do a Purim party during the day, mainly because of that. And I hope everybody could watch this video because that's the main reason for me. How can we make a regular party? So we're going to make a smaller party maybe the night before. But you know what? We have to make a change. We cannot be normal. We cannot be the regular party. But that rabbi in Israel said to this local rabbi, yes, Purim, the mitzvot, you got to do it normal. I disagree. I totally disagree. I think the insensitivity to do something like this is horrible. horrendous to say we're going to do regular parties. And thank God I'm not the only one who thinks like this. I read an article, I saw actually a video from Rav David Yosef Shalita. And Rav David Yosef says, do not make any public parties. Do not have any public exclamation and demonstrations of happiness on Purim. Why? Imo anochi betzara. Not because you're not in Gaza or you're not a soldier or whatever, so therefore you're going to have to party normal. Because those soldiers, they can't be drunk. They have to fight. And thank God they're not going to, do that. And the people who are captive there, obviously, are not going to be happy on Purim. They won't even know that it is Purim. They don't even know what is happening. Should we continue as if life is normal? What an insensitive way of thinking. When I heard that David Yosef, who is a gadol, said something like this, I align completely with what he said. So we're going to do the mitzvot? Yes, we're going to do the mitzvot because it's mitzvot, we're going to do them. We've got to be very careful and very sensitive. What about the Chilul Hashem? People are going to see everybody, dressed like every year and happy, and aren't we the same family? If your family would be in Gaza, you wouldn't make the simcha. So that's the test. So now Ta'anit Esther, we're going to pray for them. You know the power of Ta'anit Esther? Says the Levush, is kenos et kol haYehudim, get all the Jews together. There we have to be machmir. To get all the Jews together. Maybe not necessarily physically, but to get the Jews together. That means the Jews that we don't always have a great connection with. How about this Purim, instead of making extravagant parties, we send mishloach manot to those that we don't like. That's what we should be doing. So that we can noset kol haYehudim, that we put all the Jews together, because the Yeshua comes when we are together. When we're together, we're invincible. But when we're separated, we're very vulnerable. And that's what we should be doing this Purim. So more than ever, the Ta'anit Esther is relevant. This Gezerah is pending. There's a war that could break any second in the north. And if it does, it's going to be worse than Gaza. We know that. So we have what to pray this year. And we have what to work on this Purim. Bezat Hashem together, between the tefillot and the unity of the Klal Yisrael. And the sensitivity to those who are suffering hell. Bezat Hashem, Niszechut me Hashem, protect the Klal Yisrael. Purim Sameach and Shabbat Shalom.